Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the life of a sunflower. My name is Lara if anybody is new to my channel. And today's video is very exciting to me because it's an interesting topic. It's about being misunderstood and being villainized or labeled as a villain when you put yourself first and set boundaries. But the thing that I'm crocheting today is going to be Elphaba witch bucket hat, and like, who isn't the perfect person to talk about during this topic? Of course, Elphaba. This is she's an amazing example for this topic, and I'm so excited to be able to create and just talk with all of y'all. So let's just get right into the video. Okay, y'all, I got my black yarn. This is how far I've been. But don't you see, like, the little hat is, like, starting to try to form? Like, I hope y'all can see the vision. See the little point? Yeah. But to start off this video, just picture that girl that's always so kind, so sweet. Everybody looks at her as the good girl, the great image, the good friend, girlfriend, daughter, etc. But when she sets a boundary or finally says no, she's villainized all of a sudden. I know, very strange. But it really shows you that even still, while being so nice, so perfect, or so called perfect to people, people will still villainize you. They will still put the blame on you, and they will still choose to blame you for just doing a simple thing such as setting a boundary or saying no. This, everyone, is an example of being misunderstood. And I think we've all been there. This girl that I'm describing, she is definitely me. She is me. I am her. But literally, I think we've all been there, being misunderstood, labeled, or even if not labeled, just you can feel the narrative shifting in you, even subliminally being viewed as the villain in somebody's story. And especially for the people pleasers out there, this is a prime example of just that. It leads to the topic of where did all of this start? Lighting was getting weird. But I think when we all grow up, just growing and learning as a, just even as a child, we are conditioned to a lot of things, such as the narrative of being liked. Everybody wants to be liked, and it's in the movies, wanting to be popular. Okay, I'm done. Cameo. But literally, everybody wants to be popular, or at least be liked, and being liked is being popular. Well, sometimes it doesn't mean be popular, but besides that, it can mean that. And whenever we have these expectations for ourselves in our mind, it causes us to not be as genuine, and also leading to kind of shrinking ourselves. That's an interesting way to put it, but yes, shrinking ourselves. We can definitely shrink to fit in the box of what some people, or where some people will want us to stay in life. If we are, if we may come off as not likable enough, we will do things and adapt in order for us to be likable, even if it is being misunderstood. We sometimes, to be honest, we sometimes will literally choose to stay in a box and still be misunderstood in order to be liked. And that leads into the next point. The moment you assert yourself, the moment you assert your voice and get out there and express yourself fully and truthfully, it makes people uncomfortable. Like some people say, growth makes others uncomfortable. And I've noticed that a lot in my lifetime. I've definitely outgrown a lot of spaces, a lot of lessons that I've been in, but sometimes I would force myself to stay in them in order to be likable or I don't know another way to put it, but just to fit in. Yeah, I think we all adapt to fit in at some points in our life. But I think when we continue to try so hard where we lose ourselves, it can get very, it's like you're abandoning yourself. But what we're learning is not to lose sight of ourselves, not to lose sight of what we believe in, which is, this is why it connects to Elphaba. She literally believed in everybody having a right, like with the animals that taught at the school. Elphaba stood in what she believed in, and she was already misunderstood just by her appearance, her appearances and stuff. So by how she looked, you know, by her skin color being green. So people already were off put on her. But once Glenda, she changed to Glenda, but befriended her, everybody stopped bullying her, and she kind of became popular. Even though she still was herself, you know, she still felt out of place. But at the end of the day, she still was, she didn't feel like she fit in still. But at the very end of the movie, she made that decision to not want to shrink herself anymore. She was empowered and chose to step into her power. And she was villainized for that. And it will take you by shock in life. Sometimes you'll be like, okay, I'm going to choose myself first, set my boundary, do this, and then the whole world will can literally turn on you like that sometimes in life. So it really goes back to the thing or that moment you assert yourself and speak your truth, live in your truth, stand up for yourself, or just set a boundary. It's comments and statements like, well, you've changed, you're different, you switched up. But in reality, you are just being truthful finally. Because sometimes we can really hide and try to be something else, even though we really are. Our goal in life is to be free, our authentic selves, in love. Like, that's the goal in life. And not putting ourselves first and being able to break free, that can be very restricting, and that can be very, I can't even imagine, well, I can't imagine, I think we've all been through it, but like, it can be very crippling at times. So, like Elphaba, eventually when you come to that realization, you realize you weren't wrong. You were never crazy for being different or being strong. So you know you can take that step, and you're no longer, when you realize you're no longer benefiting people and their agendas or whatever, when they prefer you to be a certain image they pictured you being, that's when the term being the villain is casted. And it can sting, you know, because if that's never been your intentions, it can be very sad when you're depicted or portrayed as that, even if it's not overtly portrayed as the villain. If somebody isn't liking you anymore, we feel like we are the villain, you know. So the point of the message of this video is to reclaim our power, bring our energy back to ourselves, and step into that power. Like, just like Elphaba did at the end of the movie, she was like, I'm defying gravity, like I am being who I was meant to be. And that literally, wow, like that literally is as good as it gets. Like, when you finally choose yourself and step into that magnetic power, you can be unstoppable. You really can. So, and you also realized the goal isn't to be understood by others. You realize you'd rather be misunderstood than not living in your truth and abandoning yourself. You realize that it's better for me to understand myself than to be understood by others. Get it? Okay, I thought I was cute with that. But you're not wearing a disguise anymore. You're wearing your true given crown you were meant to be given. And this hat, just through years or just depicted on the screen, witches are depicted as violent, malicious, evil villains. But we're realizing sometimes that witch hat, you have to put on that witch hat like a crown. and it can be your crown. It can be something that is very, very powerful, that is a symbol of reclamation and power, literally. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna come back another day to show y'all the finished look and result of this hat, but I love doing these crochet with me videos because we get to get into a lot of topics. Today I was kind of trying to find the conversation within the topic, because like I can't really multitask and crochet while talking. But yeah, like the hat really represented something for me. I'm not per se like with the stitches, but I feel like just the witch hat in general, instead of villainizing it and being, oh, it's an evil thing, and we're learning like, no, like we are spiritual people, we are powerful. And just like in the Wicked movie, Elphaba finally put on her hat, got her broom, and the magic came. That's within us as well. So I hope y'all all like this video. So please like and subscribe, and we're gonna get into how this hat is looking at towards this end. Okay, thank you. Mwah.